The CDC said it was a state of emergency for black women birthing in the United States.
First off, shout out to my guy, Travis Finley. T Finley Inspires. Check my guy out. One of the dopest motivational speakers out there, youth pastors. You need him, holla at my guy, for sure. Yo, man, thank y'all for joining us again, and thank y'all for joining us on the journey. It's been a lot, right? Yeah. It's been a lot, but man, baby J, still growing, developing. We'll get back to him in just a second, but we had a lot of people reach out and just really expressing that, yo, doula was great. She was awesome. She walked through a lot. And that led us to this point, man. A lot of people are unfamiliar with what a doula is and what they actually do. And so what we got for them this time, Shun?
Yeah, we did an interview. Myself and Brandie, who's our doula, we sat down and we just gave a quick overview of things we think you guys should be educated on and things that transpired throughout. So yeah, good sit down interview.
Yeah, it was solid. So check this out, and we will be back with more later.
What's up, y'all? I'm Shun Hogue. Been carrying little baby, Hogue for quite some time. He made his appearance already. He's here. This is my beautiful doula.
Yay!
You want to introduce yourself, Brandie?
Yeah, my name is Brandie Bishop. I am a certified doula, both postpartum and birth, and I own Your Tribe Family Services. I am based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, but I got to travel here to Missouri for Baby Hope's appearance.
I've been super excited, guys, with this journey of becoming a mom. We kind of want to touch on what is a doula. What do you even think about when you hear doula? Do you think, oh, that's a midwife as well? Because they are definitely two separate things.
Separate things.
And a lot of people get them confused. Wouldn't you say, Brandie?
I definitely would say that, especially now with COVID. I think that when the pandemic first started, a lot of people were interested in trying things outside of the hospital setting, and with that, in general, there's some confusion with what doulas do and what midwives do. But with that, it really got kind of muddled, and I had a lot of people reaching out to me for home births and things like that. And so just to understand, so midwives, of course, are medical. They are able to do all of the things that they need to medically. There are different kinds of midwives, and so that's a whole, there's about 3 different kinds that the United States has. Some are nurse midwives, meaning that you went to nursing school and then you became a midwife. Then there's traditional midwifery schools. Not all places in the United States recognize midwifery school. I think there's 2 major ones. And so there's not many midwifery schools, but then the last one is a traditional granny midwife, so meaning that you did an apprenticeship under another midwife. You didn't necessarily go to school. And so those are the least kind of recognized in the United States. And in other countries, that's kind of how you become a midwife. You work under another midwife. Doulas do a lot more of just the emotional support, the educational piece, and so they're not medical. And so I didn't go to medical school. I don't have a medical degree. My job really is to be hands-on when it comes to your education. We did a lot of that with this pregnancy. We did I think at least 3 prenatals. I think we have one more scheduled. We did. baby Hope, for him, he said, I don't need no more education, I'm ready. But I mean, that is a very large piece. Just let you know what your options are. Yes. I have a lot of parents who are like, well, I never heard of that, or well, can we do this in a hospital? So various questions come up, and I think it's important for parents to know their options. And so that's a big piece of what I do. And then support. The medical field in general can be hard to navigate, especially when you're pregnant and for the first time. A lot of my clients, about 80%, are first-time moms. And so navigating that system can be hard, and having the support you need to make sure that you're heard and you're really able to be a part of your journey and not just told this is how you have to do it kind of thing. That's, you know, that's super important. And so, and then just the actual comfort measures and things like that I bring to the table. And so, like hip squeezes and making sure you know, rub mama feet and making sure her back, all of those things are important as well, because during labor, you know, it's very labor intensive for mama. Okay, you know, it's a lot happening. Mama is, you know, fully engaged in making sure baby is, you know, healthy and is born. And so, you know, I really consider my job twofold during labor. One, to bring comfort and actual comfort measures, but also to make sure that the education is there, and that I've done my job to where the partner is also able to be fully engaged. Because if I'm doing it right, dad is not off somewhere not understanding what's going on. He's also able to engage with the process. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember. He might not remember everything we talked about in our prenatals, but I remember, okay, Brandie said this one thing. Okay, so I should probably be here right now. Or this is what they mean when they say that she's 25% of face. Like, oh, I remember she said something about that in the prenatal. And so if I'm doing it right, you know, the partner is also able to enjoy the process, or at least be very present during the process. And James had homework. He had to do.
I did.
He got about a B. I give him a B minus. He did B minus. He did his homework, y'all. He just had to be reminded a couple times, and that's okay.
That's true.
He did. That's what I'm here for. But he did do his homework, which is important.
And he probably, if he would have had a little bit more time,
he might. That's true.
He's right there at the last, you know.
That's his favorite too. He needed that extra time. But it's true. I mean, in general. And just making sure, for me, when I wanted to become a doula, it was important that black women felt empowered in birth, you know.
There you go.
And that was so important to me. And so many people ask me, or I think there's this misconception that if you have a doula, you can't have medicine, or you got to do it in the pool, or, you know, like all of these things that are wonderful if that's what you want to do. But I tell anybody that does a consultation with me, all of my moms, we want you to birth how you want to birth. I'm literally a doula just because I want you to do it how you want to do it.
Right.
I don't care what that looks like. I've supported scheduled cesareans if somebody had like a pre-existing medical condition. I've had, you know, the whole gamut, like as far as non-medicated, medicated, home, hospital. I just think that as black women in general in the United States, our voices are not heard. And it's so sad that during birth, like one of our most, you know, when we're so vulnerable, that people take that time, and instead of treating us how we need to be treated, they take it and kind of use it as a weakness and treat us worse, you know. And so it's not about you birthing how somebody wants you to birth. It's totally about you birthing how you want to birth, you know. And that's not all doulas, but I particularly, that's special to me, because I think that if I'm gonna tell you how to do it, why am I, you know, that's not a part of, that's a part of taking that from you. Like if I'm here to give you a voice, but I'm like, but the only way you can do it is not medicated and you need to be at home, like, okay, so now I become your voice, and that's not fair, you know.
Yeah, Brandie was amazing. I don't know that I would have made it through this birthing process without her. I think it was a big piece for me to be able, she mentioned it before, just to have somebody to be able to advocate for you, because you are, when you're in it, and so, you know, your thought process can be everywhere during the actual birthing phase, and to have somebody there that knows, hey, this is what she had in mind, you know, this is what she desires, it's super important. And that empowering piece as well. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I see a lot of young African American women who are coming, like, they don't know their options. They think all it is, hey, that's all I know is to get an epidural, or medicine wise, I don't know that I can actually do this. Especially if they're in a single family, you know, they're having to do it on their own. They don't have the support system from the baby's father, and so I think it's super important to be able to get educated and have that support. So I'm just super grateful for you, Brandie.
Oh my goodness, Shun was a rock star, y'all. She was a rock star. I was so excited to be there, but it takes a lot. You know, I think that people don't give birth and postpartum and everything that goes into it as much credit as it's due. It is a lot. Your body goes through a lot. Your mind goes through a lot. And so I tell every woman who gives birth, is amazing. Like that amount of strength that you have to possess to, do that, it's unmatched for sure. And you and Shun was true. And I don't just say that about everybody. I love all my clients dearly, but I don't. But Shun really did. She was such a rock star. She the whole time she was thinking about her baby, and just being safe and mothers take care of babies even before they're born. And so it's so amazing to actually see that, in action, where a mom is not thinking about, all of the other things. She's like, I just need to think about my baby, and that's so special,
So here's a question, guys. Behind the camera. Hey, how's it going? So, like with the birth process, is there things that you need to do beforehand, like physically to your body, so that you have a birthing experience that you want? Can I start a month or two before my due date, 2 months before my due date? What is that? How should that look with individuals?
That's a good question. I tell all of my moms that birth is a marathon, and a marathon starts during pregnancy.
Good point.
It is not a sprint. It is not a jog. Like, this thing is like, at times you're gonna feel like giving up. At times you're gonna get a second wind. But you have to start that training. You don't train for a marathon a month before. You don't train for a marathon the week of. Like, you train ahead of time. And so Shun did an amazing job. It was so funny because other moms that I had posted about Shun, and they're like, oh my goodness, she's pregnant. I'm like, yes, you can work out while you're pregnant. You should work out while you're pregnant. Like, that's okay, to get in, to be in shape. And if you're already a physical person, definitely continue to do that. If it's something you love, don't just say, I can't do it at all. You might need modifications, with pregnancy, but in general, if you love it, do it. But also, it's really, really good for you.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah,
though, right? I think you just gotta cut off everything.
It's true. What was your regimen like, Shun? Because I know I would check on you to make sure you wasn't doing too much, but Shun was doing, a lot. She was taking care of her body.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was a jogger. That's cardio was something that I did for a while. So I did that up until about 7 months of pregnancy.
That's good.
And that was good. I still felt okay about it. But when I felt like, man, I'm losing breath and it's doing too much, and I cut off on that. And we were working out 5 times a week before, leading up to that.
Okay.
Then we had to tone it down to about 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And focusing more on like squats, stretching more, things that we knew that can contribute to the actual birthing process.
And I love that. That is super important, Shun. So when you're doing workouts and stuff, people always ask me, like, well, Brandie, what should I be doing? I don't care if you're 1 month pregnant. You can start stretching in the morning and at night. I always tell my just do some butterflies, do some stretches, all of those things. Having a birthing ball, that was part of James.
That was part of his homework.
That was part of James.
We finally got it.
That was part of James's homework, was to get a birthing ball. And a lot of people hear birthing ball, they think it's only for when you're in birth. When you're actually having a baby. But a birthing ball is amazing for months up until.
And it was.
Yeah. I tell moms, if you're just at home watching TV, get on that ball, sit down on the ball and watch TV. Because a lot of those core muscles that you use when you're pushing during delivery, you will really engage. And you can do that 3 months. You can be 6 months away from delivery and still doing that. And so then when it's time to deliver,
your body is used to it.
Exactly. And I think that was something that even the doctors and nurses, everybody was so impressed to see Shun when it was time to actually deliver, y'all. And I'm not kidding you. First time moms, they have this theory that you push for about an hour at the minimum, and they say typically about 3 hours. Like, you can do research, you can ask people, like, this is a thing, this is not something I'm just saying. Like, people are like, oh yeah, first time moms push for forever. Shun pushed for like 15 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. If that. She did 3. I know we did 3 rounds of 10 pushes. And so I explained to her how we would do it. And because Shun had already trained her body and engaged those muscles, when it was time to push, she said, oh, no, I'm not here to push all day. Like, I'm here to push to get a baby out. We here for a purpose. We here with a plan.
Come on.
And you can't do that if you start to think about what I need to do for my body the week before it's time to have a baby. That doesn't happen that way.
Right.
And
I think also that comes with programming your mind about the things that you have already discussed. Like, hey, when it becomes that time where you have to push, you know, you have to be able to feel that contraction during that time. And when I say like, hey, this is what's going to happen, this is like, understand that, and, you know, realize that, program your mind to do that. Because it is mostly a mind thing there.
Oh my goodness.
Versus, you know,
100%. 100%. Birth, pregnancy, birth, it starts in your mind. And when I tell you, y'all, those doctors were so impressed. I knew Shun could do it because we had talked about it. Literally, we had, like, this was a thing, and I always do that with my first time moms, because people will tell you, it's so important as a first time mom. Protect your parenting style, protect your pregnancy. You got to protect that stuff, because, you know, in general, first time parents, everybody wants to give you advice. Your mama, your cousin, your auntie, your friends, everybody who's ever had a baby think that they know about all the baby stuff in the world. So let me tell you, no, this is how you should do it. And so then you have all these thoughts going through your mind about, oh, well, what if this happened, or this happened to my cousin, what if that happened? But like, what if none of those things happen and you just have your own experience? You know, so you really have to protect that, though, y'all. People won't give you that space, unfortunately. You have to protect that space. And with that, Shun had a very different experience. You know, she had a wonderful experience, but different than a lot of women that these doctors were talking about. They're like, oh, literally the doctor came in, he's like, oh, I'm just gonna wait, let her push down a little bit. Okay. I said, well, I got a job, sir, and you got a job. I'm ready for my job. So if the baby come out before you change your clothes, that's not my business.
Nope.
And Shun pushed 3 rounds of 10, and the baby was out. He said, oh my goodness, oh yeah, you might want to change your clothes. Do whatever you need to do, because the baby's coming. Okay? It was so, and I love that. Those are the moments I live for. It's like, we talked about this. She has already put all this work and effort into preparing her body, and then just to see it pay off that way. You know, at the end, the doctors were still like, when me and we were leaving the hospital, and they were still talking about, oh my god, yeah, she did such a good job, and you powered through it. But like you said, it's because your mind and your body were already pre-established. Before we got to the moment where it's time to push, you had already decided, like, this is how I'm gonna walk this thing out.
That's one. Let's just say, because, you know, in my circumstance here, I had this, what I thought how it should be. You know, hey, I want it to happen this and this way, but it kind of curved a little bit. Would you say we navigate through that? I mean, it's okay, you know.
It is okay, and I tell people that you know, that's a really good question, in a sense that that's like, such as life sometimes. Like, you plan for something and something else happens. But I think the key is the education piece, because we had done so many sessions and we talked about so many different things. Although we did not get the exact route that you wanted, you knew about the different routes, you know. And so when we do our birthing plan, while I hate to talk about cesareans if that's not our first choice, while I hate to talk about medication if that's not our first choice, we talk about those things. We have to walk it out. And I'm like, if we want to call this plan Z, that's okay, but we do still have to talk about plan Z, because it could happen. And so I think that having that confidence, because I've definitely worked with women where it's like, oh, but Brandie, this wasn't in the plan. That's okay. It's okay to deviate from the plan, as long as you still have education on what these other circumstances can be. The plan, if you deviate from the plan, it only becomes scary when you're not prepared. When you don't know anything about a cesarean, or you don't know anything about having epidural, you don't know anything about you know, having an induction. Those things become like monsters if you've never at least talked about it before. That's, you know. Brain. And so I don't think you can and I tell people, as a doula, I can't control everything. You know, you can't control, and it's your body. The person who is the smallest in the situation has the most control, which is hilarious. And so we have to give way to that, though. You know, you have to really allow the process to take place. And but you're 100% right. When you have a doula, you have somebody to feel that with, because honestly, as much as even if you have a doctor or a midwife, they're going to give you the information like, hey, this is what you have to do. They're not necessarily there for your emotional support.
That's right.
You know, they have other things to do, lots of other clients. And you know, I tell people, when I go to a hospital or when I'm at a birth, the best part to me is that out of everybody else who's there, my only concern is you. You know, everybody else has other people to be concerned about. They might have other clients there. They might have other patients. They might have, you know, paperwork to do. I'm there, and I'm only there for you. Like, I don't get, you know, paid by anybody else in the hospital. So I have I have no bias when it comes to if they come in and say, hey, do you want this medicine? I'm not pushing that particular medicine. That company don't owe me nothing, and this hospital don't owe me nothing. The only person I care about here is you. Right. And so that gives me a very unique way of viewing things. Like, I don't have to view it how everybody, the politics that go on here, or, you know, what the culture is here. I'm literally only here for you. And so as long as you okay, I'm okay, you know? And so I do think that just having that level of support and education, which it totally changes that, even if you have to veer off.
Y'all heard it. Get you a doula.
You got to get one. Nah, especially black women, sisters. I'm telling y'all, it is. You know, the CDC it always frightens me when people don't know this. But a couple years ago, I want to say it's probably been 3 years now. The CDC said it was a state of emergency for black women birthing in the United States. And that state of emergency is still in existence. That's not like something they said it and then like a couple months it went away. The hard part is, Shun, and this is just such a harsh reality for the America that we live in. Those numbers have not gone down since the state of emergency started. Like, the state of emergency started, and they released the numbers for maternal and fetal health. I'm trying to think. I think they do it every 3 years. And so the first year that they put them out, they then did the state of emergency. 3 years later, they did it, and those numbers were up. And so, like, black women, we have to recognize the fact that this is not, you know, this is definitely, some people are like, oh, I don't have to worry about that. We do. We cannot be unconcerned about you know, this issue. This is our issue, you know. And so our numbers are staggering from state to state. You know, being in Georgia, that, you know, we have some of the worst numbers, you know. And so I always like to do a lot of education there. But it's just important. Just know that you have, you know, there are sisters out there who want to support you. Know that, you know, doulas do exist, and we want to make sure that you are taken care of well. And are able to bring, you know, your baby into the world without fear of, you know, just being able to live through it.
Right.
So, Brandie, how can people get in contact with you if they want to reach out for services, to follow what you're doing?
Definitely. And so I'm on social media. Your Tribe _family services on Instagram. Your Tribe Family Services on Facebook. And then I have a website, yourtribefamilyservices.com. And so you can feel free to reach out. I get some, you know, especially younger moms. I love when people, if you have a question, you know, you want to slide in my DMs and you're just like, hey, what, you know, I just have a question about this kind of particular thing. I'm always open for that. And then definitely if you want services, I do virtual services. I also, like I said, I'm located in Atlanta. I did travel out here for baby Ho. I got flew out to meet baby J.
Did that.
Yeah, we did. And so whatever services that you're interested in, definitely let me know. Like I said, I just have a heart for black women and being able to, you know, live through birth and have the best experience possible, you know.
Good stuff. I had my notepad. I did have homework. I got my homework done. Was writing down a lot, man. We switching the thing up. We switching the game up. Y'all don't have to wait till next Sunday. This coming Wednesday, 7 p.m., we dropping another video for y'all. Y'all like, listen, a week is too long. I hear y'all. Y'all done told us what was what we listening. So Wednesday, 7 p.m., we dropping another video. We jumping right back in. Baby J, his NICU experience, what that was like. Free my boy, Baby J. Free Baby J. Y'all, we out here.